All right, so you're in an interview and it's going well, and then right at the end they say to you, have you got any questions? You get put on the spot. How are you meant to stand out and impress compared to all the other candidates that they've seen before you? All right, so today I'm going to tell you the best questions to ask in an interview, and also follow-up questions on the back of the responses that you get from the interviewer. And these range from personality or personal questions about the interviewer, company-specific questions, technical questions, industry questions, motivational questions to show you're interested in the role, and a few more. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, the first question is, what will success look like in this role 3 years from now? So that essentially shows your drive and your ambition. If you get that position, you're going to go there and you want to know, if you work hard, where will you be 3 years from now? It's also important because it lets the interviewer kind of sell the role to you. So they'll probably say, you know, you come in as an analyst, and then if you're successful and you're performing well over 2 or 3 years, you'll go and be an associate. You will be able to, you know, increase your base pay. You'll get a bonus each year that will increase based on performance. Depending on how good you are, the more responsibility you can get, etc., etc. And they're just going to go into pitch mode. They'll pitch the role to you. But more importantly, it shows that you're thinking forward, you're thinking ahead, as opposed to, you know, someone who isn't. Now, it's important to ask any follow-up questions if anything stands out to you or if anything piques your interest. So when they say to you, you know, top performing analysts get to the next stage or get a higher bonus or further compared to, you know, lower performing analysts or mid-tier analysts, you can say, what separates, or what do top performing analysts do compared to the others that get them into a top quartile performance bracket? What do they do that stands out compared to everyone else? So it shows them that you're listening, you're actively listening, and you're actually curious about being a top performing individual in that cohort. Personally, if I'm interviewing someone and they are asking these types of questions, the vibe I get from them is, all right, this person wants to come here, work hard, be a top performer. And that's everything that you want in a junior professional, right? All right, next question is company specific. So you can ask them, what do you like specifically about working here? It might be about the division, it might be about the company overall. And it allows them to kind of talk a bit about the culture, talk a bit about the firm, go into pitching mode again. And it just lets them kind of talk freely about a comfortable topic that they know about. The last thing you want to do is ask an interviewer a question where they feel uncomfortable, like, I don't know, what's your salary? That's a really bad question. Or a question that is very technical that they get embarrassed because they don't know the answer to. So you don't want to put them on the spot like that. You want to make it easy for them, and just people like talking about themselves and their work. So that's an easy question to get easy points on. What you're going to learn from that question is the culture of the firm, the culture of the division. And then you can follow up with, is this specific to the division or does it apply to the firm overall? Or you could say, is this specific to the team or does it apply to the division overall? All right, next one. Typically the person is going to be somewhat senior. You can ask them, what did it take for you to become an associate or a director or a VP or an MD? This goes into, you know, personal questions. So you're putting it on them to talk about their personal journey. As human beings, we love talking about ourselves. We love to tell stories. So they're going to go into that storytelling mode, talk about their background, talk about their journey, how they got to that role. And you just got to do the easy work. Sit there, nod your head, listen, ask any follow-up questions that pique your interest about their journey. And that's it. Remember, when your interview is going like a conversation, it's a very good sign. It builds likability, the person warms to you. And when it comes to decision making, even if you're not the brightest interviewee, a lot of the role, a lot of the offer is based on likability because they know you're smart as it is. But can they sit next to you for 12, 13, 14 hours a day and enjoy the workday beside you? So that's very important. If you plan on applying to investment banks or you've got any interviews coming up, listen up. Because today's video sponsor, Financial Edge Training, are going to be able to help you. They train the top 4 global investment banks analysts and associates as rated by the Financial Times. What's more, they've got a ton of resources and online courses that can help you break into the industry or improve your existing knowledge. For example, their investment banker course will teach you everything you need to know from raising capital to mergers and acquisitions and more, regardless of whether you're an intern, an analyst, an associate, or not. They've also recently released a short investment banking interview skills course. The course includes 19 short videos which can help you dramatically improve your chances of success at your future investment banking interviews. Best of all, you can get a massive 25% off all their online courses by using the discount code Afzal25 at checkout. So be sure to hit the links in the video description down below. Now with that, let's get back to the video. All right, the next question you might want to ask is, where are you in terms of strategic repositioning for this business? Now, this is a company specific question, and it's good for the following reasons. In the current world, there's lots going on. There's the COVID pandemic that we just got through, but it still had big ramifications for the world of work. There's Web 3.0, which is coming up. Read up on that. Web 3.0, that has big implications for many industries. There's cryptocurrency. There's so many things going on in the world. A lot of these impact different businesses in different ways. So you can pick one of these and ask them, is this impacting your business? How will you strategically reposition, or how are the execs of your division or the company thinking about these things? It shows that you are big picture thinking outside the box. And it's one of those questions that not many interns or analysts are going to think about asking. So it's a good way to set yourself apart from everyone else. Here's a question to show that you are keen on personal development and training. What type of leadership or development training does the firm offer new joiners? So if you ask that question, it shows them, and it's also a good opportunity for them to pitch the firm's training programs, because most big investment banks, for example, have like their own university online where you can choose different modules to learn in your free time, whether it's presentation skills, Excel, so on and so forth. So they've got all these development modules, so they'll talk to you about that. There's various talks that happen, various presentations, various HR events and things that go on. So if you ask about training and development, it's an easy way for them to answer in a confident way something they know about and pitch the firm to you. And then you can follow up with, you know, how often do people attend these? What's the requirement? Are you expected to do these? Anything that piques your interest, once again, on their response. It's always good because it shows that you've been listening actively, and it shows, you know, you're not just asking for the sake of asking, you've got follow-up questions. All right, here's a good question that shows you're serious, you're a hard worker, and you're willing to hit the ground running. So you can ask them, if I were to be successful and get an offer for this role, what can I do between now and the starting date to prepare for the role? So this shows that you're willing to go away and put in work. You're willing to do things, you know, that others might not be willing to do. You're thinking about the role seriously, and you want to hit the ground running and do well if you were to get the job. And it's nice to see from an interviewer's perspective, because, you know, they could tell you a list of things that will help you, and it shows that you're serious about the position. So that's a good question to ask. If you want to go one further and stand out even more, you can say, I'm already brushing up my Excel skills and PowerPoint skills and keeping up to date by reading XYZ financial press, and list a few things that you're already doing. However, what more can I be doing to prepare for the role if I were to be successful in getting an offer? So it shows them you're already doing stuff and you want to learn what you can even do more of. So it shows them that you're serious, you know, you're taking it seriously and you're a serious candidate for this position. All right, another one regarding the market environment, the business or the division specifically, and it goes back to, you know, COVID, cryptocurrency, everything going on in geopolitics and the world broadly speaking. You can ask them, you know, how has X, Y, Z, whether that's COVID, crypto, etc., impacted, or how will it impact this business over the next 6 to 12 months? On these types of technical questions or broader market questions, you always want to have an opinion. So, you know, you don't want to be in the position where they say to you, what do you think? And you don't have a clue. So every question you're going to ask them that's technical, just imagine them asking you, what do you think? And then prepare an answer for that, because it otherwise just looks like you're asking a technical question just to look smart. But always have an opinion. There's no right or wrong opinions. Just use your intuition when you create an answer. Have a sensible thought process on how you get to a response, and then you should be fine. All right, so it's important to understand, if you got to an interview, or if you get to an interview, you're in a very privileged position, because lots of people apply to these roles and many get rejected. So when you get to an interview, you need a way to stand out. Oftentimes the interview could go great, and it would go great for many candidates, but what sets people apart is the questions that they ask in the interview in order to display curiosity, display attention to detail, display focus, drive, ambition in the role that they are interviewing for. So these things are very important, and so it's important to ask good questions. The interviewer has probably heard every single question in the book, but they can tell sometimes when someone is asking a question as a formality just for the sake of it, or if someone's genuinely curious and interested about the question that they're asking. Imagine you've got lots of interviews and then you get 2 offers from 2 companies. Let's say one is, I don't know, Morgan Stanley, and one is Bank of America Merrill Lynch, and you like both the companies and you have offers from both, but you don't know which company to join. This is where good questions in an interview help. Let's say you ask the same questions to both companies and you get varying results from the 2 companies, right? One might, sway you because of the way the person responded, or because of the answers of the questions that you ask and the culture or the vibe you get from the interview. So if you've got 2 offers and you don't know which to go for, the questions that you ask in an interview could help you decide. So that's very important. Now, in the interview, you want to show them that you're forward thinking, you're driven, you're ambitious, you're keen to get started in the role and climb, because in these industries, they like people who are hardworking and they don't just want to sit at the same level. They want to progress and grow within the firm. And that's why those types of questions are important. If you are going to ask a technical question in an interview, just be sure to have an opinion on the subject. You don't want to ask a technical question like, oh, where do you think the price of gold is going? How is inflation going to impact this division? And then not have an opinion of your own, because then it just looks like you're asking a technical question just for the sake of it, without really caring about the answer. So yeah, it's better to ask questions about things you're curious about, as opposed to ask questions just to look smart and just to come across as someone who knows their stuff when in fact they don't. You want to ask maybe 2 or 3 questions at the end. Don't overdo it, and don't ever go to an interview without a single question, because it just shows that you're not interested in the role, and it's a pretty surefire way to get rejected. So keep that in mind. All right, 2 important points before we wrap up. The first of which is, don't ask every single question I've listed. Pick 2 or 3, and then most importantly, second point, practice them in front of a mirror. You don't want to ask them like it's scripted. You want them to roll off the tongue. You want them to come off naturally. You want it to be flawless. And the best way to do that is practice in front of a mirror. It might sound stupid, but honestly, the more you practice these things, even if you want to put on a suit and tie, or if you're female, whatever you might wear for an interview yourself in front of a mirror, ask questions, practice your responses. That's the best way to practice. If you have got someone that can help you, use them. If you've got any interviews, best of luck with them. Check out the resources and the links down in the video description, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.